Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to today's live reading of Mystical Midlife Mate by Reggi Dupree, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Chapter 1, Gwen. What does a modern independent Black woman do after a crisis? Run home to mom's and drown my sorrow in a tub of Belle Blue Rocky Road ice cream. Except Rose was not my only aunt, but a century-old vampire. Oh well, nobody's perfect. The only things capable of keeping my tsunami of emotions in check tonight were shoestringing, old-fashioned stubbornness, and sugar. I always said that when the going gets tough, the tough grab carbs. Standing in my childhood bedroom at the Double R Ranch, one of the oldest in Texas, meant that this was one of those moments. How did I, Gwendolyn Carter, seer of ghosts, celebrity tattoo artist, and owner of the softest belly this side of the Rio Grande, become a demon? Oh, I wasn't talking about the bitchy middle-aged hot flash having imbalanced hormones variety of hell spawn. No, that would be too ordinary for the likes of me. Why would a woman raised by vampires, befriended by witches, and once loved by a werewolf expect anything different? Baby, I didn't do shit halfway. We're talking wings, talons, and hold on to your horses freaking fangs. Okay, I wasn't going to lie, the wings were incredible. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to work those bad boys. Since I was already 5'7", the extra inches made me supermodel tall and stretched my body enough that my BMI dropped 10 points. So maybe being a demon wasn't all bad. Luckily, the wings, talons, and extra 6 inches of height were now gone. Walking barefoot down the elegant halls, I relished the cool tile against my overheated soles. The museum quality vases and subtle art decorating the vast halls blended into nothingness as my vision darkened and narrowed. I stopped walking and gripped the banister as reality tightened my chest and punched me in the face again. I was a demon. I jump-started my lungs with 3 full breaths. This was not the time for a panic attack, at least not until after ice cream. Get it together, woman, I whispered, giving myself the world's worst pep talk. After releasing my death grip on the polished mahogany railing, I padded further down a narrow hall to the discreet servant stairs and sprinted down to the kitchen. I ignored the shiver racing from the base of my spine to my scalp. It had nothing to do with my alternate identity, but something far more terrifying. Everything I'd believed had been stripped away. A few hours ago, the instant I'd slipped my human skin, I became something else, a creature of violence, all rage, no chaser. It was as if my anger was a living, breathing thing. Rather than blood flowing through my veins, I was filled with cravings more seductive than love and more enticing than hate. My demon whispered promises of joy more fulfilling than any orgasm, and I wanted it all. I desired nothing more than the destruction of those witches at the crossroads, merrily killing them, which would have been easy but wasn't good enough. They needed to suffer. Their lives lost all value once they involved Loretta. Since they decided that murdering me wasn't enough, those heifers dragged my elderly cousin into the mix. One thing I will never apologize for is my desire to survive, but I'm not even going to lie. The intense disappointment at being denied my brutal and bloody justice terrified me. In my struggle to save myself, I became the monster. My snort rang out in the empty kitchen. Am I the drama? I asked the marshmallow atop my spoon. Do I get a vote? A too perky Maria strolled into the Double R's kitchen like she owned the place. I groaned. Well, I loved my cousin. I wasn't in the mood for her bullshit. No. How about we do this tomorrow? I don't have the spoons right now. As if the jean dress pushing her boobs up to her chin and exquisite matching blue boots weren't enough, she'd melt the hell out of the lace. She melted the hell out of the lace on the wavy wig, brushing her shoulders each time she moved. In other words, Maria looked amazing. The heifer. Girl, shut up. From the look of that container, 1 spoon was more than enough. She opened and closed drawers until she found a suitable utensil, then aimed it straight for my bucket of bluebell. I shifted, tucking the cold cardboard against my chest. Don't even think about it. Why? You think I'm going to catch your demon cuties? My mouth dropped open. Did she just say that? I was in the middle of an epic meltdown, trying to figure out who I was, what I was about, and how I planned to deal with it, and this wench was talking about cuties like we were 9 years old. That's it. I'm becoming a hermit. Marie ignored my protest. She dug her spoon into the chocolatey goodness I'd been drowning my sorrows in, and then shoved a massive spoonful into her big pie hole. I can't believe you. I'm here debating whether I'm having an existential crisis or a nervous breakdown, and you got jokes. I asked, the volume increasing with each word. Well, yeah. She reached for my precious half-gallon and I pulled it away. And once again, I failed. Stop being stingy. She scooped out a heap of nuts and marshmallows and proceeded to eat it before I could rip it out of her hands and toss her and the spoon across the room. Thankfully, she waited until her mouth was empty before she spoke again. Look, you already gave me ringworms. I doubt a couple of drops of demon spit will change anything. You're awful. It's a talent. Is there more? She jerked her chin at the walk-in freezer. Yeah, I mumbled. I couldn't even have a pity party in peace. Maria walked through the double stainless steel doors, mumbling about vampires having too much food. I considered locking her in. Unfortunately, my cousin would just make herself at home and start chowing down. And if she died, I didn't want her loud ass haunting me for the rest of my life, which after today might be longer than I'd ever imagined. When Maria returned to the table, she was armed with a spoon, a half-gallon of Bluebell French vanilla ice cream, and 4 frozen chocolate eclairs. We'd both inherited more than big butts and a love of sarcasm from our ancestors. At least her branch of the family tree was human. They were gifted root workers and practitioners of hoodoo. Luckily for them, they skipped the generational curses, and any shape-shifting they did involved facial contouring and highlighting, lace front wigs, and support garments. Maria slid one of the eclairs to me and sat down. So what's up? She asked as if inquiring about changes in cattle futures. Am I in an alternate universe? Hell no, you're still in Hoodoo, Texas. She grinned and shoved a spoonful of ice cream in her mouth before her voice softened. Not too much, because that would sound like pity, and we didn't do that in this family. You okay? No, but riddle me this. Why didn't you come in soft and concerned before you bulldozed over me? She frowned and nodded as if she were listening to far-off voices. I considered it. I opened my mouth to lay into my favorite frenemy, but as usual, she kept talking, her voice suddenly somber. But I don't want to think about all the death and destruction at the crossroads tonight. I don't want to remember the people I knew and liked. I don't want to remember that people I knew and liked could be that evil. Once again, I found myself struck stupid. Was this my cousin being astute and, dare I say, nice? Then, with a wave of her ringed hand, she returned to the regularly scheduled program. Besides, that's boring compared to you becoming a whole-ass demon. So what was it like? Can I see your wings? Maria wiggled her eyebrows. You just had to fuck things up, didn't you? This was some real black people shit. Or were families universally odd? The answer would be yes. What? I'm just asking. She took the 4 eclairs to the microwave and defrosted our trauma antidote. Since we were playing 50 questions. So you're not scared of me now? What? Maria laughed. No, not just laughed, but the bitch put the guff in guffaw. Did she not know who I was? That I'd morphed into a creature of pure violence and wicked beauty? I should punch her in the throat. She waved her hands. I'm sorry, but that was the funniest shit I'd ever heard. We have people who are centuries old and on a plasma diet. We have friends who turn into animals, big ones with sharp teeth. Aunt Loretta comes out of the house wearing a muumuu and without makeup. And you think I'm supposed to be scared of your ugly ass? Maria pointed the spoon at me like a rapier. I don't think so. Okay, maybe it wasn't me who needed the intervention. The woman had to be on something. But I do have one question. Okay, here we go. Maria had bullshitted her way to this point. I curled my fingers into fists, hoping she didn't throw holy water on me or some shit. It should have never crossed the double R threshold, and I don't know what would happen since I was obviously a creature from the dark side. I heard you had wings, and they were badass. What about horns? And can I see? She leaned in, staying quiet for a millisecond before her eyes widened. Oh, but if you're going to do some changing, keep your drawers on. No, what if I hurt you? I shook my head. Not going to happen. Plus, I don't know how. It only happened once, and it was a bit of an emergency. Not only did my cousin's shoulders sag, but she deflated before my eyes. Damn. So, I rubbed my knuckles against my chin. They're talking about me? You're kidding, right? People in this town know what you ate before you have time to fart. That's why everyone's waiting for you at the ancestors. Probably with pitchforks. But I wouldn't ask. Some questions, yada, yada, yada. But this one I couldn't avoid. So you came here to do what? Look at the freak? Maria pursed her lips and poked a pastry at me. Calm your ass down. You've always been weird. First you saw ghosts, now you have wings. Big fucking whoop. Folks want to thank you for exposing the truth about the witches and saving Loretta. Oh. Get over yourself. Maria stood, her stool sliding back with a squeak. Only this time it wasn't annoyance or humor on her dark face, but hurt. Damn. I grabbed her hand to stop her from leaving the kitchen in my life. My circle of trust was small these days. Hey, I'm sorry. It's scary, you know? No, I don't, because I've always just been ordinary, mundane, not special at all. That's not true, I whispered. Nothing I could say or do would help, and to argue would be an invalidation of Maria's feelings. Look at the two of us, each wanting to dispose of the very thing that made us unique. What a pair. Maria smiled sadly and nodded, giving me the bless your heart head tilt. Yeah, honey, it is, but I'm okay with that. You know why? I shook my head. Because even when you were gone, I had you. You're going to make me cry. My throat tightened. In all the years I'd known my cousin, this had to be the kindest thing she'd ever said to me. This was a night of wonders. Please don't. It's not a nice sight. You'll get all, Maria swirled her hand in front of her face, snotty, and you'll scrunch your face up like one of those apple dolls. I hate you. I couldn't help but laugh, especially since no one in Hoodoo, including her, had ever seen me cry, because I hadn't shed a tear since I learned of my mother's death. Maria might not have been the person I'd wanted, but damn it, she was the one I needed. I hate your ugly ass too, Maria scowled. Then we both burst out laughing. The tears dammed behind my eyes leaked out, but it wasn't sorrow, panic, or even fear that opened the faucet, but joy. And I wasn't even going to complain, for now. How did you know I was here? I asked, wiping my eyes. Oh, I caught a ride with Ash. The spoon stopped halfway to my mouth, and the panic attack hovering at the edge of my consciousness crept closer until a deafening roar of thunder filled the room. Then an image flashed through my mind. Ash, wings spread wide, looking like a leather-clad angel, standing on Highway 45 the night my mother died.